In Afghanistan, there is no doubt who is now in charge. In the city of Kandahar, the Taliban hold a victory parade. But for now, the attention moves to what went wrong. And today, the Foreign Secretary was swept into Parliament to answer MPs, his smooth arrival contrasting with the chaotic scenes of the last 2 weeks. All the same, Dominic Raab wanted to stress 15,000 people had been evacuated, but he couldn't give a figure for how many might have been left behind.
If you're not confident of the numbers, how can the Prime Minister possibly know whether the overwhelming majority are out or not?
I'm not confident with precision to be able to give you a set number, but I am confident that the Prime Minister's right that we've got the overwhelming number out.
Then, of course, there was his holiday. Dominic Raab said with hindsight he shouldn't have gone, but this was uncomfortable.
When did you go on holiday? What dates did you go on holiday? Not interested in what you did there. What date did you go?
Look, I made a full statement.
What date did you go on holiday, Foreign Secretary?
I've made a full statement.
I think your own personal transparency is important. What date did you go on holiday?
I made a full statement on it. I also was clear I should have...
Did the statement include the date that you left the country?
At all material times...
Why can't you just answer this question? This is absurd.
Because, look, to be honest with you, I think it's a pretty partisan...
There's been much criticism that scenes like this could have been avoided with more planning. The Foreign Secretary said they had planned, but they had not expected such a sudden collapse.
The central proposition was that given the troop withdrawal by the end of August, you would see a steady deterioration from that point, and that it was unlikely Kabul would fall this year.
The opposition say the Foreign Secretary must go.
I think he ought to have gone some time ago and handed the job over to somebody who can do it, to take responsibility for what has been the greatest foreign policy crisis in a generation and has left Britain in a weakened state, reliant on the Taliban, negotiating with China and Russia to get our citizens to safety.
But Dominic Raab is still in post, and tonight he is on his way to the region to visit countries bordering Afghanistan to oversee the next stage of this crisis.
Let's talk now to Andy, who's in Westminster. Andy, the UK is talking to the Taliban, but of course the British government's main priority is getting British nationals out of Afghanistan.
Yes, that is the priority. We now know that senior British officials are in Doha in the Gulf, talking to the Taliban, trying to work out how they can bring people out. Now, in terms of numbers, in terms of British nationals, today the Foreign Secretary said that was in the low hundreds. But in terms of the other figure, where he really couldn't give any kind of, even a ballpark figure, really, those are people who maybe worked for the British forces, were staff maybe at the embassy, or even dependents of people who might be British nationals. There he couldn't give any figure, but for instance, Lisa Nandy told me today she thought there might be more than 5,000 of those people who might have a very good claim to come and be brought out of Afghanistan and get to the UK. However many of them there are, they will have to come out it will only be possible with the cooperation of the Taliban. At the moment, the Taliban are making the right noises, if you like, about allowing people to leave. But obviously, the longer this goes on, the more concerned the British government will be. They say they will judge the Taliban in the end, not by their words on this, but by what they do.
All right, Andy, thanks very much for that.